Hey, you have been giving your whole time in the office. Why don't you take off for a while? Yes, I was thinking the same. Thanks for the advice though. Nope, you don't need to thank me. You really are a busy bee these days. Plan some vacation out? Sure, I will. Hey, did you guys figure out something unusual? Yes, the person A said, you are a busy bee. If you figured it out, excellent. And welcome to the world of metaphors. So, hi guys, welcome to English Learning Stop. Today we are going to learn another figure of speech, and that is metaphor. As I've mentioned over here, the origin dates back to 15th century and its roots has French, Latin and Greek in it. It dates back to as late as 15th century or probably in the 16th century, the early 16th. Now see, in Latin, metaphora means carrying over. Okay, I'm telling you in Latin, it means carrying over. Whereas in Greek, meta is the word that means between and phro that means to carry. So in Greek, we have it as meta and phora. Okay, it means entirely two different things. Meta means between and pharo to carry. I hope this is clear. So have you ever described someone as, when someone was angry, you might have said as, you are a pomegranate in anger. Is anyone really a pomegranate? No, of course they're not a pomegranate, but you are just comparing the two things over there, angerness with pomegranate, right? I made it myself. You might have other words for that. Pomegranate in anger. So I am comparing two things over here. I'm comparing anger with pomegranate. Okay? Or I could even say time is money. In literal terms, is time really money? No, time is not money. Over here the person is trying to say that time is very precious. As money is very precious, you have to work very hard to earn some money. And the similar way, time is very important. If you waste your time, you're not going to achieve anything, you won't be successful. Similarly, if you work very hard, then time is very important for you. Time is money. In other words, time is money. So when two things get compared in a sentence, it is known as metaphor. Okay, we'll give you some more examples. That again, if I repeat the definition, a word or a phrase used to describe somebody or something, like I have mentioned anger over here, in a way that is quite different from the behavior from its normal use. Like I could have said she is very angry, but I'm using a phrase over here that is, you are a pomegranate, she is a pomegranate in anger. So in order to show that two things have the same qualities, okay, pomegranate is even red, and when you are angry you become red in the face. So to make the description more powerful, I'm using pomegranate over here, though I could have easily said in a very simple tone that you are a very angry person, but I use the term you are a pomegranate in anger. So creative writers, they use such words to create influence on the people and to draw imaginations in their mind and to focus on something when they are trying to tell their story or their part. So now metaphors use is, are and am. Okay, this is something very important. Metaphors use is, are and am. And why am I telling you this? Because metaphor is somewhat similar to simile. Okay, we'll see simile in our next video, but right now I'm focusing on this, that the use metaphors use is or am, whereas simile use like, the term like or as. Okay, like I could have said time is as precious as money, so over there I'll be using simile, I'm adding as over there. But in case of metaphors, I've used simply time is money. Okay, this is more beautiful, this phrase looks more beautiful. You have shortened it, you're not going to use simile, but you're using metaphor over here. So time is money. And another one thing more important, people say metaphor, it's not metaphor, but it's pronounced as metaphor. Meta and for, two syllables over here, metaphor. Okay, remember this. So I hope this is clear. That means A equates B. Okay, it's simply A equates B. That is, pomegranate is equal to anger. I hope this is clear to all of you. Let's see some example. Now look here, I have a few examples over here. The first one is, the student is a bright star. Now what do I mean by saying a bright star? I could have simply said as, the student is very intelligent, but I'm using again a metaphor over here, though there is nothing common on the surface. Stars is something different and a student is something different. So the comparison is being made in the sentence. Now I'm referring the student as a bright star. That means he is so intelligent that I'm comparing him with the star, because stars are very high in the sky. So the student must be a topper. I am using him as a bright star, I'm comparing him with the bright star. Next one, her long hair was a flowing golden river. Okay, that's a very unique sentence, I like it personally. They are comparing the long hair with the golden river. She has golden hair and it's the river. The river is never ending, it continuously flows. So see, her hair was so long that the person is comparing this with the golden river, flowing golden river. So again we have compared the hair with the golden river. Next we have, she is a rose of her family. See, she is so beautiful and the whole family likes her so much, that is, she is being compared with the rose. Okay, like for example, you might be the one who is the rose of your family. You are very important, you are very worthy of, people like you, all the family members like you, so you are considered as a rose. So next time when you are saying it to someone, you can say, you really are a rose to your family. Okay, next, pencil is freedom or pencil is weapon. Okay, why I'm using these terms? Pencil is freedom. Whenever you hold pencil in your hands, you can write freely about anyone, of anyone, no one is going to say anything to you. Okay, so you come up with the points in your mind and you jot it down on the paper with the pencil. Okay, so you are free to use the pencil, you are free to put your thoughts on the paper. Sometimes pencil is also a weapon. Many wars take place. The people in the olden times, they used to exchange letters. They used to bring envelopes, people used to bring envelopes to each other, to the country members or to the king, and the things or the points that were written in that parchment or the piece of paper, they were too strong that one could become angry. So pencil is often regarded as a weapon. So I hope these four examples are clear to you. Let's use Shakespeare's quotes. Shakespeare, I personally like him so much because he was a great influence writer and he often used metaphors while he was writing something. Let's see one of the most famous quotes he used in his play, that was As You Like It. All the world's a stage and all the man and woman merely players. They have their exits and their entrances. Now see, he is comparing the world to a stage. Now basically he was a theatre person and that is why he is comparing the world to a stage. He used to write a lot of plays and then those acts were played on the theatre, okay, on the stage. The characters would perform on the stage. So he is generally regarded as a theater person. So he is regarding the world, he is comparing the world to a stage. Okay, though the world is not a stage, in literal terms the world is not a stage, but he's comparing it over here, how he thinks. See, and all the men and women merely players. Merely means just. Okay, they are just players. So he regards men and women as players. Now why does he say that? Because people come over here, they do their part, so they act like players. Okay, like for example, if you go in cricket, the player, you look at the players, one is bowling and one is batting. So in the ground they are players. So again, when Shakespeare is using over here, men and women are players, that means they are acting their role, they are doing their part, and so he regards them as players. They have their exits and their entrances. Okay, this whole thing is an extended metaphor. Okay, it's not just a metaphor, because he is continuously using metaphors, so we regard this as extended metaphor. They have their exits and their entrances. Exits, that means in and out they go. They are coming into this world and then they are leaving this world. There are 7 parts in this whole play, and this was one of the part which I have discussed over here. So I hope this is clear to you. So now to sum it all up, if you are being metamorphical, that means you are comparing 2 things. Okay, that means A is equal to B. Like I told you earlier, pomegranate was equal to anger. Okay, so, or in Shakespeare's play, world is equal to stage. All the world is a stage. Okay, is used over there. So, and comparison is made between things, although there is nothing common on the surface. World is something else, stage is something different. So now what does it do? To summarize it all up, what does metaphor act as? Why do we use, or why the creative writers use metaphors in their language or while they are writing something? To sum it all up, or to wrap it all up, we see some points over here that are being discussed. The first point says, put color to your language. Okay, so what does it do? It brings life to your language. When you are writing something, it brings colors, it brings lives, it is more lively. Then it adds power to your description. Okay, you are a very powerful or a creative writer when you are writing, or when you are putting metaphors in your description. Whatever you are writing makes meaning very clear. Okay, and then you are more intimate or expressive. If you are writing a story, you are being friendly with whoever is reading. He creates pictures in his mind, and you're being more expressive. You go in detail telling about your part. So in the last, A equates B. I hope this lesson was clear to you. We'll move on to simile in our next lesson. Thanks a lot, guys. If you have any questions, please put them in the comment section below. I'll reply to them. Thanks a lot once again.